What's up, my comic comrades? Today we continue Villains Month with a versus matchup between two of the most notorious villains in comics, Lex Luthor versus Dr. Doom. Each of these big bads are at the top of the food chain in their respective universes, and have a ton of similarities when it comes to character profiles. So we thought it would be fun to match them up against one another and see who would come out on top. So let's jump in and see what happens. Now, if you remember, we always start these versus episodes off with giving a brief retelling of each character's origin to quickly familiarize everyone with where the characters came from. So let's start this off by recapping Lex Luthor's origin. Now, Luthor has had many different retellings and revamps to his origin over the years, most of which we go over in our History of Lex Luthor episode. He first appeared in Action Comics issue 3 in April of 1940. But for today's purposes, I'm just going to touch on his origin as told in Adventure Comics 271 from 1960. The story takes place when both Superman and Lex were teenagers. Lex is a young scientist who lives in Smallville. In fact, Superman was called Superboy at this time because, well, he wasn't a man yet. At the beginning of the story, a kryptonite meteor lands on Earth right next to Superboy. This weakens him, putting him in incredible pain, so Lex uses a bulldozer to push the meteor off a cliff into quicksand below, saving Superboy. Clark says to Lex, "I owe you my life. What's your name?" Lex replies, "Lex Luthor. It's nice to meet you, Superboy. It's about the most thrilling thing that's ever happened to me." And the two became friends. Lex then takes Superboy to his lab and shows him he has pictures of Superboy and trophies of him everywhere, saying, "I have hero worshipped you for years. To me, you're the greatest boy in the world." Which comes off pretty freaking creepy and stalkerish if you ask me. Anyway, seeing all the scientific lab gadgets, Superboy gets an idea and says, "I'll be right back." He then returns, giving Lex rare unknown chemicals that Lex can experiment with, which Superboy borrowed out of the ground at super speed. Weeks later, while trying to create a kryptonite antidote, which will protect Superboy from kryptonite, a fire started in Luthor's lab. So Superboy arrived and blew out the fire with his super breath. But when he went to go check on Lex, Lex says, "You rat, your puff of super breath blew an acid bottle against the antidote bottle. They broke and their contents destroyed the formula for my greatest discovery. Not only that, the gas fumes made my hair fall out. I'm bald." And that, my friends, is how Lex became bald. Superboy is like, "But it was an accident. I didn't mean to." But Luthor replies, "Don't lie. You were jealous of my genius. So you deliberately broke those bottles and destroyed my formula, which was the result of thousands of experiments. You knew I could never duplicate this formula again." And this, my friends, is the beginning of Lex's hate for Superman. After the accident, Lex destroys all the trophies and pictures he had of Superboy, saying, "I hate him. How could I have ever hero worshipped that super rat?" He then says, "Superboy will regret the day he decided to steal the glory of Luthor." Later in the story, Lex would also try to kill Superboy with kryptonite, but Superboy was able to take the last few drops of kryptonite away from Lex Luthor to save himself, marking the beginning of their ongoing rivalry, which followed into their adulthood. With Luthor's origin out of the way, let's move on to Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom first appeared in the Fantastic Four issue 5 in July of 1962. In Fantastic Four issue 5, Reed Richards gives us a brief backstory on Victor Von Doom, telling us that years ago in Reed's college days, there was a student named Victor Von Doom, who was fascinated by sorcery and black magic. As we see Doom practicing just that, Reed goes on to say he was a brilliant science student. He was always interested in forbidden experiments. As we see Doom strap himself into some contraption with a portion of it covering his head, while the person getting it ready and turning it on says, "This is mad, Von Doom. Why do you keep trying to contact the netherworld?" Doom replies, "Silence. Just do as you're told." Reed continues to narrate, saying, "One night, the evil genius went too far, as he brought forth powers even he could not control." As we see people in the hallway saying, "What was that?" It came from Von Doom's dormitory. Reed then tells us he managed to escape with his life, although his face was badly disfigured. And then Doom was expelled from school before he could cause greater harm to himself or the other students at the school. At which point Doom left, and when Reed last heard of him, he was prowling the wastelands of Tibet, still seeking forbidden secrets and black magic and sorcery, which clearly Doom ended up finding, and we see how he found that in the Books of Doom issue 4. We learned that Von Doom would go to Tibet, and when he was there, he found an old order of monks. Once he found them, he started practicing their ways, and with them, he was able to teach himself sorcery. Mastering it and the monks' ways, he became their leader, at which point Von Doom had to make him his first suit of armor. As the monks forged his armor, Doom narrates saying, "Using what I had learned in the temple, I will remove myself from this world. I will create a second skin. Adaptive technology would line the inner workings of this armor, and an enchantment would seal it from the demon's touch, would keep it from my dreams. But the cold metal on my skin reminds me of his existence, and that he held my mother's soul captive in his realm. For now." The demon he would be referring to is Mephisto, who has his mother's soul, and Von Doom vowed to free her from him. But more on that for an actual History of Dr. Doom episode. Anyway, as the monks put on Von Doom's newly forged armor, he says, "Bring me the mask." They tell him, "It's ready, master." Von Doom replies, "Yes, it is perfect." And while they put it on him, he says, "Never again will mortal eyes gaze upon Victor Von Doom. From this moment on, there is only what I have become. There is only Dr. Doom." And now that you've all been briefed with the origins of these two characters, let's move on to what matters for this battle: their powers and abilities, starting with Lex Luthor. In most continuities for DC Comics, Lex Luthor is considered to be the smartest human on Earth, which therein lies his true power, his mind, as again, he is an intellectual genius. What should really stress the point of how smart Luthor is the fact that he's just a normal human, he has no superpowers, yet he's able to go toe-to-toe with arguably the strongest superhero in comic books, Superman. Just think about that. Lex Luthor is so smart that he doesn't need any superpowers to take on Superman. He just uses his mind to outwit him or invent things to take him down. What I'm saying is Luthor has given comic books' original powerhouse, Superman, more trouble than any other character in comics. What makes the relationship so interesting is that you have DC's strongest superhero versus DC's smartest man, which is quite literally brains versus brawn. Although Superman is incredibly intelligent, but nowhere near as intelligent as Luthor. Anyway, it's been said if it wasn't for Luthor's obsession with beating Superman, his mind would be able to turn the world into a utopia free of illness and crime. Dude is so smart he could solve world hunger and probably even develop a cure for all diseases, but instead puts his brain power into beating Superman. But since Lex blames Superman for the world not recognizing him as the greatest man alive, he just wants to kill him. Lex Luthor has created an array of mechs or battlesuits over the years that make him incredibly formidable. They're so powerful, in fact, that they allow him to go toe-to-toe with the Man of Steel. That alone should tell you everything you need to know about what his technology is capable of. And I'm not just talking about the kryptonite-infused stuff. In short, Lex Luthor uses his intellect to outwit and outsmart the most powerful characters in DC. Dude even became Superman for a little bit during DC Rebirth. But with that said, let's move on to Dr. Doom. As for Victor Von Doom, he also has a genius-level intellect. His intelligence is actually his most dangerous weapon, which says a lot. He is easily one of the smartest humans in all of the Marvel Universe. Top 5 for sure. With his intelligence, Doom has created countless devices, including a time machine, which was the first of its kind on Earth. But he's also invented devices that can give people superpowers. But besides his vast intelligence, he also has his infamous armor. His armor is on par with that of Iron Man, giving him enhanced strength able to lift several tons. But it also has jetpacks, a force field, concussive blasts, infrared vision, solar energy absorption, electric shocks, and of course, it's incredibly durable. Again, it's comparable to Iron Man's armor. But hey, Lex has a bunch of armors and battlesuits as well, most of which are probably stronger than Doom's. But this is where things start to look bad for Lex Luthor, my friends, and that's the fact that Dr. Doom is a master of sorcery, which gives him a huge leg up. And as I said in the origin part of this episode, Doom learned the mystic arts and sorcery from his time with the secret order of monks that live in Tibet. From there, he would further develop his abilities by traveling through time and learning lost dark arts. And Dude became proficient in all of it. Put it this way, Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme himself, considers Doom one of the most powerful practitioners of sorcery and potentially a Sorcerer Supreme himself. There's even certain areas where his knowledge surpasses Strange, like his knowledge of spellcraft. Doom has even gained the ability to switch his mind with that of another human who is nearby just by making eye contact, which is a process he learned from the alien ovoids. Some random examples of sorcery Doom has displayed are Mystical Blast, Mystic Force Fields, spellcasting, teleportation, dimensional travel, mystical portals, and so on. Essentially, I'm organically telling you guys who would win this fight. The winner of this fight, hands down, would be Dr. Doom. And here's the reason why. Lex Luthor and Dr. Doom, you could say, are pretty much on par intellectually. Even most of their tech, you could say, in general, is pretty much on par with one another. But where Doom really starts to outclass and surpass Lex is with his mastery of sorcery and the mystic arts. The simple fact that Doctor Strange said that Doom has the potential to be a Sorcerer Supreme puts him on a whole other level than Lex. I mean, at that point, Dr. Doom could just open up a portal and send Lex through a black hole. The possibilities are endless with his mastery of sorcery, and then mix that with his genius. Yeah, I don't really see a way that Lex can come out on top. Obviously, you could find a way for Lex to win, but 9 times out of 10, Doom is taking this. So there you have it, guys. Your winner, in my humble opinion, is Dr. Doom. But we want to know what you guys think. Let us know in the comment section down below. And that's going to bring today's episode of Variant to a close. But if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to check out this one right here. And if you like all of our content, subscribe, like, and comment. It always helps the channel out. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.